They're supposed to be here like Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Anyway, enough about that. It's time to break me, isn't it? It's time to break me more. We're all the way here at the end of chapter 9. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. Also, I may have to move my mic forward, because right now it's like about a foot off to my right, and like 2 inches in front of where my mouth is. So unless I look at it and actually talk, I don't know how much of it's going to be picked up really well. But just in case you're wondering what mic this is an AT2050. AT2050. So not a cheap mic by any means. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door, it was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why is my body awake yet? If they came to my room right now, then... Cinder block to the head? Ah! Eek! I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiichi! What's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance fell off. It begins. What? You want to play fetch right now? That's what's going on? You want to play fetch right now? Is that what's going on? Apparently you do. The cat wants to play fetch, by the way. Okay, wanted to play fetch once. What? Cats that play fetch. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I was well enough to go, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? Or what if it had pierced my tongue? The first one, a severe problem. The second one, eh. I mean, it would have hurt, but you know. There was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Reina and me on. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time we'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get up! They say wellness is a state of mind. Boy, you have no idea, Mom. I've heard that line many times before. And I've seen that cat nose at the door many times before. Go on. Zelda, go on. There. There's nothing for you here, cat. Yeah, I'm not telling parents anything until it's too late cliche incoming. Or technically already here, I guess. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Raina-chan comes and gets you. Oh god, you had to put it exactly like that, didn't you? Ah! Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one that got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? Yeah, about that, be careful cleaning that up, okay? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday, "I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow," came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What'd she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, "Don't be absent." Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing had happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. For example, maybe I shouldn't pay attention to someone like Uishi-san enticing me with something unusual. Meaning if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, and in effect would end up flagging myself as someone who is not wanted. And it seems that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. Run away, run away, run away and save your life. Something like that. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I had just rejected. Neon was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Yeah, that's all it is. I did something wrong, and she's not rejecting me yet. She's just making sure I can, oh God, please help me. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? You know when you put it like this? When the game states it like this, it sounds a little bit, what's the words I'm looking for? It sounds like we're an abuse victim. It kinda does. You know what? Hang on. There might be some uncomfort involved here. So I need to move a few things. Come on, slide down, dang it. There we go. Move you up here. Considering the game I'm playing here really only needs one button, and that's the keyboard, and I can touch that with any hand I want. Time to reorganize a bit. Just a bit. Let's move that over here. Let's move this over here. Slide this over here. I'm moving everything onto the second monitor over to the right side of my desk, so I can actually take advantage of a few things. That's a little better, I think. I mean, technically it's a little further away from my mouth, but it's not blocking the screen. Okay. New setups. What you gonna do? Yep. And I can move this. And I can move this. Yaha. Come on. Get over here. This here. There we go. Yeah, we did kind of abuse some trusts. We did do that. I just need to find a new way to hold my mic, or my headphone cord. Is the music getting louder? Is that just me? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But all things considered, for some games, this is actually, okay, I must have been bumping my mic, or bumping my, volume slider thing. Just seemed like the music was getting a little louder. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Neon had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forgot everything and kept on living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Move this closer? I can do that. Okay. This seems like it's a little better arrangement. For now. I will undoubtedly rework every bit of this arrangement when my panel gets in and I can actually attach foam to what's air right now. Yeah, sorry. Keiichi! Your food is gonna get cold! Hurry up and get down here! Rain will be here if you don't hurry! That's not helpful, Mom. I'm coming! I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked at my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Reina. Given yesterday's event, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I need to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that had happened in the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I have to be where I normally meet up with Reina. Today, of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. We're late. I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Reina had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Reina-chan's already here! Hurry, hurry! My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. If he chose to ignore the detective completely, who knows, might actually be a happy ending. I don't think this is going to be a happy ending. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Reina, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Reina on the other side, was it the Reina I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Oh good, her eyes are normal. Morning. An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. I came since Keiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today? I wonder? The manner in which Reina was concerned was, without a doubt, the Reina I knew. But that was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday, pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death and the terminal illness and suicide. And the lynching. And the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Reina and Neon were scary. Of course. Forget it all. Forget about everyone. Forget about the Moki, too. Forget. Forget. Beam! I'm either cursed or someone laughed. One of the two. Someone's either cursing me or laughing at that. I'm not sure which. Reina once again asked to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you? Great! Then let's go. Mi-chan is waiting. Reina showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it. As we were walking, Reina talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Then? Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. Oh, she was so cute. Everything Reina talked about was just silly nonsense, so I replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors, and they called out to us. Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Reina-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Neon-chan said she was going on ahead. Uh-oh, did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? Called it. We need to hurry, Keiichi-kun. As we smiled and parted ways with our neighbor, they turned back towards me and stuck out a tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile. Ah, Keiichi-kun smiled. We don't have to kill him today, yay! Huh? But what? Reina stopped and stared at me. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed a bit down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine. Fine! Yeah. Everything has a reasonable explanation. Reasonable is not a word you apply to this game. With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maebara. How can you still doubt Reina after she shows you a smile like that? I don't know, a needle in a pastry kind of does that to me. Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. I really hope that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, I would have never left the city in the first place, but beyond that, there's only one thing that I'd wish for. I would want what had happened the past few days. More specifically, from the night of the Watanagashi up until last night. I want all of that to never have happened. I wonder how many times I'd wished for this these past few days. As long as Raina kept smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Raina to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Because I can't see her eyes when she smiles, and, well, I can't tell when she goes demonic. So, Keiichi-kun. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Oh God, you gotta bring that up! I'm trying to forget. Forget Beam. Forget Beam works. That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Raina's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Raina was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that. Keiichi-kun? I was reluctant to give an answer. Raina stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maebara. I mean, you're hesitating right now. We need to stop this. Hesitation is bad. Raina was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and mouth had become dry, and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. Deh? Raina playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Raina's reaction was still normal. It seems that there wasn't as long a pause as I had thought. Somehow I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious! However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Raina's expression. For a moment I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Raina broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. So did you eat all of them, I wonder? I wonder? My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I'd swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Raina made? That homework. Was it due today? Yeah, it's due today. Mi-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you. We gonna die, aren't we? This is where we die, isn't it? Is this the final chapter? I mean, you know. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just some usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried deep beneath the facade of this giggling Raina. Lies! I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Raina's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Raina? Nah, that was wrong. That was still Raina. Oishi-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Nifty effect. Raina had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows, all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school, breaking the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after the other, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk. Lined up. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Raina smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant, piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise as Raina walked towards the broken shards, walking towards me. Raina's classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe. I wondered what they did as Raina came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her closer to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room after being directed there by the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Raina busting window after window, undoubtedly, all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Raina to continue. It was far too violent an act for them to seek refuge by looking the other way. That's not to say they were looking the other way. They were doing the only thing they could to protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Raina's new target. What could Raina have done to... what would Raina have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning they would, I would, be the next window. Raina staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Just to let you know, I'm clicking the mouse to advance, and that's when it's making the sounds. Oh, now it moves. Then Raina struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Raina didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hits me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. It's because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. It keeps swaying the UI buttons. Why is it doing this? She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Raina wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me! Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out. But of course, everyone in class scrambled to attain the highest standardized test scores. They gained nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Yeah, kind of. It kind of does. Only, yeah, we're telling it from the perspective of one of the people getting thwacked, and not the thwacker. And we're dead. Eventually, there would be a faint sound similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Reina momentarily lost herself in her anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Uishi-san told me. In an encounter's medical report, he recorded all the conversations he had with Reina-san. It shows up, and quite a bit at that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Following that, Reina was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Reina was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow looking down at her. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture, but it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then what Reina did. Was she saying that the ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Uishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not of some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Reina? Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro's curse. In the aftermath, Reina had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Reina. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Reina's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice, accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Reina and the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths? I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that, but that was no longer possible. I'd received their message. It was pathetic of me to try to bend the meaning to my own convenience. Regardless of my opponent being a human or curse, I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in. For no good reason at all. Keiichi-kun, you've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder. Inhaling sharply upon hearing Reina's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I'd realized that we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Reina could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to placate myself. Why sproing? As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. Oh, how befitting for the truant Keiichi-san! Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Reina. Good morning, Sparkle Sparkle, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. And be glad that it's not an anvil. That would befit Looney Tunes land here. That's not making much noise on the mic when I do that. Sitting there moving the stand around and it's not actually making a whole lot of noise. Neat. What is this? How discouraging indeed. Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him for today, okay? Suddenly there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Hey, Kei-chan, did you get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Reina, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi. That hawkish gaze from yesterday. Yeah, morning. What's with that unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? Because I ate them, I'm like this. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over. Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Reina's? I can't believe you forget your homework, Keiichi-kun. Sheesh, then we can't help it. Time for your penalty. Flashing a lurid smile. Lurid? Really? Okay. Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maebara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. Doesn't seem like a chapter break. It seems a little bit too early. The free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous the situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Luigi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. Nah, calling it a warning was just my habit of understating things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Yeah, he probably should have thought about the homework, but that would involve eating more of the mochi. You know, and I'm gonna say probably not a good idea to eat more of them. Until they had a method of completely erasing me, they were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under the thumb of threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hoju, the boy that was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. Or were they really trying to kill me? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we figured out which one it was almost right off the bat. I think it was the first one we bit into had needle in it. I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. With all their suspicious behavior, a morning like this made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. Nah, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, these points were something I should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Reina and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maebara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have been just an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Both Reina and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Reina just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked about what I had for lunch. Reina was standing outside her door, eavesdropping for a good hour, you know? She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Uishi-san, didn't you? About what Reina did at her former school? But at the hospital she said it was Oshiro-sama's fault. Cut it out, Keiichi Maebara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check and see if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Reina and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. Yeah, we dead. We are dead. Oshiro-sama heard that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student. A man, boy, living and have his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I'd been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right. You're too soft, Keiichi. This time I remembered to keep my voice down so that only I could hear it. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Reina and the rest of them were. Nope, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me? I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling me in the class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would have probably happily jumped into that circle. My, Keiichi-san! How rude of you to even think about leaving! The way Sotoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt. Huh? Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day, I wonder? And we were going to win big together. Oh. Seeing Reina's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi, maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Keiichi-kun? Yeah, was Reina really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not, I just wanted someone to say it was. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive? Are you alright? Does your head hurt? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Reina. You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder. Nah, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were going to play the deduction game from before, too. Keiichi-san didn't have the burning desire for a rematch? How pathetic! I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Oh boy! Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate. It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with a petite hand. That ain't a good sign. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everybody. See you! That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Maebara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. And somebody's cranked the paranoia all the way to 12. But I couldn't hate them, because weren't they my friends? Friends don't kill friends. I'm just saying. Part of me lamented my naivete, while another part lamented the fact that I lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. Quit lamenting things, lamenter. It felt like my consciousness was being ripped out of my body. If this is what Oshiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Oshiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believed in it now. He's just very heavily invested in reality, matching up with his expectations, I think. Completely. Your curse does exist. So, seriously, give me a break. Not my legs, please. I beg you. Come on. I don't think it's influence or anything like this. I think that he just really wants to be blinded to whatever's really going on. He wants things to go back to exactly the way they used to be. But, yeah, that ain't happening anytime soon. We've already unsealed that box and let all the bad stuff run free. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. Or I've completely lost the ability to taste things. One of the two. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted nothing like boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump. So yeah, he just didn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets in the way of business. I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. Nah, they used to be friends. But I could no longer trust them. Right now I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted. People I could depend on when push came to shove. They were something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. You know, if you're gonna take this stand, isn't Oishi an ally? I'm just saying. I put down my chopsticks I was eating soup with, and looked over at my parents who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa that I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up till now, would they even understand? Reina, for example. That neighborly Reina, who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day and sometimes brought over to share a share of what she made. Twitch chat's repeatedly not working? How unlike it. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anyone to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. Nah, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Mayabara family to have an accident or to just vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary puts you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. Yeah, or parents becoming hostages cliche. But yeah, you did say earlier, not telling parents anything until it's too late cliche. Oh, we've kind of gone right beyond that, haven't we? As long as my parents were here, this house would be a safe haven for them. Until a steamroller drops on it or something. It's just saying. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents? Nah, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Uishi-san. Him and him alone. God, that's depressing. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Uishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I just needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oishi-san. No question, it was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I need to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I just have to hide out there until Luigi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never imagine this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah! It'd probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically, that would call for a switchblade. But that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remember there was a metal bat at school. Yeah, a bat, huh? The thing Reina kinda went to town on her school with. We're just gonna start carrying that around. Yeah, I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended like I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, then the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Uishi-san should be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal, it was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maebara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that often showed up in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Reina and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never need me to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is it has to do with Oishira-sama's curse. Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, because he most assuredly isn't, I chose not to write anything else at that point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was the chance that they would discover it instead. On the other hand, if it was in too obscure of a location, then there was the risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Because people always check behind clocks, right? Right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now we need to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I'd never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask of you. Please listen. Just in case, yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're talking about. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, then they'd probably find it a memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class, and I really like it. Yeah, that was about as subtle as a chainsaw to the face. That's about the level of subtlety we're dealing with here. So please. What's the matter? Keiichi, did something happen? Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. You know, I would worry about that, but I have a feeling they're going to just kind of pretend that their son absolutely said nothing about death and try to live life as normal. I need to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Reina. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I just talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that began was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed, not when I still knew nothing. This kid has mood swings. This feels like a chapter break, is it? Some anime parents worry. Yes, it is. Not feeling so hot. Keiichi-kun's been feeling down lately. Maybe he's in a bad mood. I wonder. Maybe he's on his period. Mami-chan, that's gross. What do you think? Don't know. Could be that Kei-chan, maybe? I don't know. That day Kei-chan was talking in that car to some tubby middle-aged guy, right? Yeah, no mistake. That Oishi, he probably fed them something fishy. He was so serious. Keiichi-kun's face was so pale. You see, you might not know this, but he's actually the messenger of Oyashiro-sama. Huh? What do you mean? Whenever he shows up, someone is demoned away. No lie. Oh? Is that so? The year before last, when Rika-chan's mom drowned, right? Right before that, she was visited by Oishi. Now that you mention it, it happened before Satoshi-kun transferred out. Transferred? Oh, I've got the voices backwards, don't I? Transferred? You're so sweet, Reina. So this time he's appeared before Keiichi-kun. So Keiichi-kun is going to be demoned away too? An empty silence hung in the air, and then it was suddenly interrupted by loud laughter. Huh. So Nothing to worry about there whatsoever, right? Not a thing. We're good. All's fine here. How are you?